Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw, live a little bit early this morning. You'll have to forgive me, but I got a busy day. I think I got 3 client phone calls this morning. I have to do a workout assessment. I have to create a workout for a client. So busy morning, but I thought I'd jump on a little bit earlier than normal. I got a client phone call in I don't know, maybe about an hour and 15 minutes. I'll be on for at least an hour. If you have any questions, just post them on up and I will be glad to help. Nothing's off topic. Training, nutrition, supplements, off topic crap, whatever you want. Let me see if I can get this zeroed in over here. All right. Hopefully that light won't be too obnoxious, but sitting in front of my computer right now. How's everybody doing? Who's on? Where you guys from? Chime in. What are you guys up to Saturday morning? Any exercise? We did a 15K Thursday. And then I ran an open mic last night here locally at Mulberry Street Books in Ohio. And we're doing at least a 10K this morning. What's going on, Chad? How's your weekend going? What are you up to? Um, so we're gonna try to get in some chest work and at least a 10K run. One good thing about the running, adding the running to my lifestyle, is that like last Thursday when I ran the 15K, I burned like 2,300 calories, and it allowed me basically to eat whatever the heck I wanted to, which was a good thing. You can't complain with that. But our workouts have been slacking a little bit, haven't been the usual intensity, but we're still getting in work. We're still getting in some good stuff. Hey, big hairy ugly dude, what's your typical breakfast for a recreational lifter 3 times a week? Typical breakfast. I mean, there's some staples you need to consider. Proats is a great choice. You can take oatmeal, put it in. What's going on, Australia? You can take oatmeal, put in a half or a complete tub of Greek yogurt, a half or complete scoop of protein powder, and a little bit of water. Let that sit overnight, and you get up. You got, I don't know, like 350 calories. You got carbs. You got plenty of protein. That's a really good option. I used to make an egg bake where I just put a bunch of eggs in a 9 by 13 with a bunch of vegetables, and then I would just cut them into like 12 squares. That's a good option as well. I like to go high protein in the morning. I don't like to go high carbs. Personally, oatmeal is kind of the exception, but if I do too many simple carbs in the morning, I tend to, feel a little bit sluggish. So I generally like to keep it more protein centric, but those are good choices. Really simple to make. Proats are really the go-to. They're so easy. Freddie says, is it possible to drop calories, weight the same, to drop calories, weigh the same, but look leaner? Um, yeah, absolutely. Look, a lot of things can go on with water weight. Um, you can see water weight fluctuations for a lot of reasons. You can also see, you can also gain, 5 pounds of muscle and lose 5 pounds of fat and look leaner. I mean, I'm a perfect example of that. After I lost my 100 pounds, after I got down to 246 the first time, I didn't look all that great. And then over the next 2 years, I had to work at some recomposition. I ended up weighing the same after 2 years, but my body looked completely different because during the 2 years I was losing weight, I lost a little bit of muscle mass. And then the 2 years where my calories stabilized, muscle memory was my best friend, and that mass came back. So, yeah, there's a lot of factors at play. You can gain some fat or lose some fat, gain some muscle, have some water weight issues, but yeah, absolutely. You can look leaner at the same weight. The scale should not be the ultimate determiner for you. You should be taking measurements. For my clients, I have them take at least monthly. I try to have them at least take monthly arms flexed, quads or legs flexed, and then waist at the belly button relaxed. So we can kind of see what's going on with their gut relative to their arm size. So it's good to be a little bit scientific with stuff like that. Let's see, what do we got from Chad? Chad, back day. I have reps at 8 to 10, but doing heavy weighted pull ups with only 3 to 4 reps. Is that counterproductive? No, heavy pull ups are not counterproductive. I will say I'm not personally a fan of heavy pull ups. That's like doing a heavy barbell curl to me. I don't, I personally, and you can do whatever the heck you want, but I don't think that's the best route with pull ups, with weighted pull ups. I believe there's, I just don't believe there's a lot of benefit from doing really low rep pull-ups. If you're going to do weighted stuff, which can when you start to body weight exercises, you're taking them into a different realm. I like to protect the joints and focus on longevity. I'd rather see guys doing 12 to 15 reps with weighted pull-ups, 10 to 15 reps with weighted pull-ups, maybe 3 sets, and then adding weight slowly. I've seen some guys get really aggressive with their weight additions on pull-ups and dips to the point where they're doing really low rep sets, and it just honestly it makes me wince. And I'm just being real here. It makes me wince a little bit because it's not the best way to build muscle. It's not the best way to build strength, and you are better off. You're better off doing some volume work for those exercises. All right, post your questions, guys. I will be on for probably about an hour today. Let's see. We have Samir Preet from India. Hello from India. Front delts. Two active and chest exercises, working on back and rear delts for imbalances. Any suggestion? The back can take a lot of work. So when it comes to rear delts, you need to understand, just like front delts, that the cornerstone of your rear delt training will be heavy rows in any form. I've seen a lot of guys in the gym doing their little, lighter weight face pulls, and we kind of even got away from rear delt flies a little bit. Everybody's doing face pulls these days, and I really don't see them all that challenging. But the thing is, the guys that are doing face pulls, you also have to analyze their rows and how heavy are their rows. A heavy row will do more for your rear delts than anything else. If you think about it, a face pull is this action, a rear delt, or a dumbbell row is that action. Sorry for the lighting issue. It's basically the same action with a little bit different elbow angle, and we've kind of forgotten that. So back, you want to do a deadlift, you want to do a vertical pull down, like a lat pull down or pull up, and you want to do a horizontal row, at least. The back can take a lot of work, so I like to do a deadlift. I like to do a barbell. I like to generally alternate between a barbell and dumbbell row. I like to throw seated cable rows in there. I like to do lat pull downs and maybe one more back exercise. Work your back hard, use straps, get it as strong as humanly possible. Um, and just don't be afraid to do a lot of back work because the back can take quite a lot. Let's see, we got Bentley. Recommend I start powerlifting. Yeah, I mean, hey, if you have an interest in powerlifting, the most common question I get with powerlifting is, will I be embarrassed if I go show up at a meet? No, you won't be embarrassed if you show up at a meet. Powerlifting is a brotherhood. It's yes, we're all trying to get stronger, but it's a sport really at its core where folks are trying to help, lift each other up. It truly is that kind of a sport for most people. Now, there's some dickheads out there, obviously, but if you have an interest in powerlifting, then you need to sign up for a meet, maybe about 6 months away or 5 months away or whatever. Spend your time and research and ask around. Find a good meet, contact the meet director, make sure he's not a dickhead. Because there are some dickheads out there. There's some guys in powerlifting that are full of shit and full of themselves and all that kind of stuff. And I don't particularly want to spend my money with them or support their meets because there's just so much competition out there in powerlifting. So sign up for a meet. Don't alter your training. Just continue to get stronger. Go have fun. Don't worry about weight classes. Don't worry about all the nonsense. Just go have fun at your meet. All right, let me get some drink here. We got Bang Rain, if you can see it with the crazy lighting issues we have in here. Let's see, Chad says, thanks for the detailed answer. I'll definitely take that into consideration. Yeah, try that. All right, cool. Guys, just a reminder, I have a free first month of coaching. If you're interested in help, the first month is legitimately free. There's a 3-month commitment after that. This is a complete hands-on service. It's no bullshit. It's no nonsense. I help you with your diet. I help you with your workout. I help you with your exercise form. I'm available for you 24 hours a day for questions. And if you're interested in that, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman. Send me a DM. If I miss your question during this video, you can slide into my DM on Instagram at Ben the Barman, at Ben the Barman, and post your question or send me your question. I answer every question sent to me. All right, what do we got here? Vitautas. Sorry, I probably pronounced that incorrectly. How important is strength for hypertrophy? There is no muscle building without strength additions. So it's completely essential. I'm doing a program where volume increases during the mesocycle, then resets, and weight is supposed to increase each mesocycle a little bit. You know what? I'm a little bit nervous about that program because it sounds a little bit generic. Because look, every exercise has a different rate of progression. That's just the nature of exercises. No two exercises are the same. So as long as it's structured properly to challenge you, but that type of program is, it sounds like the type of program that is overthinking things. And it's missing some things. There are also some other variables in hypertrophy and strength training that are very important. When you push a set for as many reps as you can, safely, of course, you're maximizing the amount of muscle fibers, the recruitment of muscle fibers. And this is an aspect of hypertrophy as well that is almost completely ignored in the modern fitness landscape. Why, I don't freaking know. It's just common sense. But instead, people get obsessed with periodizations and percentages and certain fancy ways of progression, when really the best way of progression is just attacking each set and naturally doing auto-regulated progression. And that is just my opinion, but any program can work as long as you get stronger over time. So without knowing the specifics of the program, it's really, really difficult for me to say. I imagine it's a sensible program. But to get back to the core of your question, how important is strength for muscle building? It's absolutely important. There is no muscle building if you don't continually challenge yourself. No matter what anybody says, you cannot build muscle. If you change a variable today, like add a couple sets for an exercise, you're going to get about a month's period of time where your body is going to adapt to that. And once you're done, you're done. If you don't add weight, you're screwed. So any little change other than a weight addition is very, very temporary and very minimal, the impact it's going to have on hypertrophy. Because when these things run their course, you're right back to needing to get stronger again. There's no weak guys with a lot of muscle. None. There are certainly small guys that are ripped that look bigger than they are. And there are certainly some guys that are blessed with a little bit more muscle mass genetically that are ripped. But if you see them in person, you're going to understand they're not as big as you think they are. They're just a little bit leaner. So strength is everything. Strength is everything. And I'm not talking about getting as strong as a power lifter. I'm talking about getting a lot stronger than you are now with volume. What's your opinion on the declined press? Would you be better off doing dips? Doing dips for lower pecs. The jury's really out on isolating areas of your chest. The lower pecs, the outer pecs, the inner pecs, that sort of stuff. Really, it's just best to try to do a well-rounded program. Think of a well-rounded program that challenges your bodies in different ways at different angles, which you are doing, and that's good. The one thing I will say with decline press is it should not be your primary chest compound movement, because the decline press puts you in a kind of a unique mechanical advantage where you're pressing more with your triceps. So it's more tricep centric for most people. That can be a generalization. That's not going to be for all people, but it's a good backup exercise to dumbbell or flat bench press. But to answer your question, dips or decline press, do both. One thing I'm a real big fan of is alternating exercises. For a very, very long time, I would get into the gym, and one week I would do dumbbell bench press to lead off. The next week I would do barbell bench press to lead off. And then my backup exercises would be variations. Sometimes I do decline bench, sometimes I do dips. So alternating exercises is a really good idea. The only caveat I would put is that don't go more than 2 weeks out from doing a really big compound movement. An isolation exercise or machine exercise can be a bit more forgiving, but if you're going to rotate compound movements, limit that to like every other week, if that makes sense. All right, guys, thanks for your questions. Keep posting them up. I will get to every question answered. Fit 40 Fitness. Once I get my lower back healed, are there some back workouts that you recommend that can target or help strengthen the lower back and lumbar area so I can prevent any future sprains and injuries? Now, I don't know the nature of your back injury, so it's hard for me to give a completely intelligent answer. But I will say for most people, and this may not be the case for you, or it may be the case for you, a lot of lower back wear and tear comes from bad deadlift and squat form or similar exercises. So, for most people that are listening that are wondering about lower back exercises, the first thing you need to do is make sure that your squats and deadlifts have been analyzed by somebody that knows what the fleet they're doing. All right, the fuck knows what the fuck they're doing, because you want to make sure you're not putting extra unwanted, unnecessary, unneeded stress on your lower back. With that into play, there is a hyperextension machine at most gyms that I feel is of value. I like that for volume. I would also consider doing some stability work for your core, ab wheel rollouts and planks every week. You don't have to do a lot of them, but to help protect the lower back, you also want to protect your core as well. If you've been doing heavy squats and deadlifts, it's probably time to do more volume work, especially in squats. So instead of like doing a 3x5 or a 5x5 on squats, you're probably better off doing 3 sets by 8x10, a little bit lighter of weight. Cumulatively, you're going to have more time where you potentially could be straining the lower back, but it's going to be with a lighter weight and more forgiving. So I hope that makes sense. Let's see, we got flip. If I want to increase my deadlift, but can't do squats, are lunges okay, or should I give up? Giving up is never an option in life. Giving up is quitting. Quitting is death. No one should ever quit. Don't ever quit. I don't know why you can't do squats, but if you want to increase your deadlift, quad strength is an important variable to consider. There are many things you can do. Over the years, I've done high volume leg presses supersetted with high volume body weight squats, high volume leg extensions supersetted with high volume body weight lunges. Hack squats are a great option. There's a lot of good quad exercises. The main thing I would focus on, of course, is progression, but progression in volume ranges. I like doing quads with a lot of volume, and I also like doing quads with supersets. They're just freaking brutal, and they're just fun. So I would consider that. Swolagorn. Boy, I'm looking ugly today and wrinkly. All that running's getting to me, I guess. All that being out in the sun. Top of the morning, big hairy ugly dude. I appreciate your content. Thank you. I appreciate you following along. Just a heads up, I'm coming to Australia in October. And coming to Scotland next January. So if any of you guys are around and want to buy me a beer, just a heads up there. I'll be on for about another 40 minutes, guys. If you have any questions, post them up. Nothing is off limits. Diet, nutrition, lifting, off topic stuff. Anybody seen the new Avengers movie? No spoilers, please. I don't want to have to block you on this channel and get everybody upset. Um, but hey, a big announcement while I'm waiting for some more questions is that next May 27th through the 31st, if any of you are in the Tennessee area, I'm going to be doing something ridiculous. I haven't officially announced it yet, but I will be training for a 96-hour endurance run. Yes, you heard that correctly. Now, I do not run for 96 hours straight. People would die doing that, obviously. But we're going to set up camp. It's a 2 mile loop. We're going to see how many 2 mile loops we can get in 96 hours. The plan tentatively is to go out and run for 12 straight hours. And yes, I've done that before when I completed my trail marathon. And then after that, maybe do 2 hours on, 1 hour off, etc. So it's going to be my goal to get to 100 miles next May. If any of you are around the Tennessee area, I could use some crew help because it's a long period of time and I'll be in the trenches for quite a while. So I'm going to be providing more information on that for anybody that gives a rat's ass. Milos, Endgame was great, lived up to the hype, in my opinion, and had more than a few corny jokes. So, yeah, sometimes the humor in those movies are a good break, and sometimes it gets to be a little bit too much. Chad says he's thinking of watching Endgame today, but he has to drive 2 hours to the theater. Yeah, if you have to drive 2 hours to the theater, it better be good. But from what I heard, the opening day is like 900 million, so it sounds like it's definitely gonna be there. Anybody else tried the new Reigns yet? I don't know if you can see it. See if we can get the lighting right. Those have become my go-to. Um, just a reminder, if any of you guys need a workout assessment, exercise form assessment, or diet assessment, you can head over to my website, superlivingtoday.com. I do a complete assessment of your program, of your diet plan, your exercise form, etc. Or you can come by here. I get people that come by here every other week, about every other week, and I spend an hour and a half with them and go over all three of their lifts. So that's an option too if you're in the Ohio area. Get Up and Move says peach is the best. You know what? I've been looking at peach. I've been thinking about peach. Usually I get raspberry and the sour apple. Sorry about the lighting issues. But peach, peach is one of those things. Either they do it really good or do it bad. So I've been kind of scared to hit up the peach yet. Let's see. We got Kev Watson. Hey, big hairy ugly dude. Heard you're Scottish. Do you know whereabouts your family lived? I'm in Fife. Beautiful scenery. I love it. No, but we want to research and learn a little bit more. We've researched the history of our names, and they're definitely in that area. But our family, we my dad's side's very Scottish. My mom's side has some Russian German blood, so we got that a lot of heavy drinking in there. But I do not know specifically know, and we're curious to find out from my wife. My wife is Fiona, and she is of Scottish descent as well. Our parents are as well. We're all kind of mutts, but we'd like to find out where we're from. And we're gonna when we come to Scotland, we're just going to kind of roam around and hit the pubs and do some hikes and get away from the tourist traps and meet the real people and hang out with the real people and do all that kind of good stuff. Raphael, how to fix a hip shift on a squat. When I go down, my left side goes down before the right. The best way to try to focus on that and develop a degree of discipline is to focus when you have the bar on your back. Instead of thinking about squatting, just squatting, think about driving your butthole straight down. Sounds a little bit awkward, right? But we're all adults. You got your little sphincter, right? You want to take Mr. Sphincter and concentrate on driving it straight down. That mental image will help you stay lined up during the squat. And this is actually a cue I really like for everybody because there's something nobody talks about when it comes to squatting, and gyms, and it's something I believe contributed to my hamstring tear, and that is most gym floors aren't perfectly level. Even if they're a little bit off, when you go to squat, it'll cause a little bit of shift because you have a lot of weight on your back. And the body will naturally shift, and it might only be a quarter inch or maybe a half inch, and you might not even notice it. But that little stress can contribute to a lot of extra or unwanted punishment on your body. If you're getting any shift at all, that one of the best ways you can do is concentrate on driving your butthole down. There are certainly other things that might be involved in fixing your squat, but that's a really good starting point and something anybody at any gym should focus on, just in general, driving that butthole down, straight down, because it'll help you visualize and it'll help you kind of keep your squat as stable and centralized as possible. The gym where I tore my hamstring, very uneven. It was just an old, you know, what am I trying to say? It wasn't built for squatting. It was an old warehouse floor, and sometimes those are slanted a little bit to allow for a little bit of runoff for water. And this was slanted a little bit, and I started pulling a little bit on squats when I started to descend. And I believe over time that just led to the chaos that was my hamstring tear. So be real careful with that. Tim Laubensheimer, not from Wisconsin. On bulldozer lateral raises, do you stop at shoulder height or somewhere else? Let's see. I kind of come up about here. I don't know, somewhere up about here if you can see it. Shoulder height's about good. Don't obsess about it. Don't try to come way up here. There's no need. Around shoulder height is pretty good. Absolutely. Vitautas Udalovas. I'll probably pronounce that absolutely awful. Thanks for your answer. I was asking because I choose a program. I did lower volume one before 9 months and gained strength, but gained almost no size. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to take a look at it. If you want to send me a link to the program on Instagram at Ben the Barman, I might be able to, kind of give you a quick cursory look to see if it's, if it could use some optimization. But it's just without seeing the full program, it's hard to intelligently, respond. Raphael White. I'm doing upper lower AB 3 times a week. Would you like you suggested? Basically, for anybody that's interested, I advocate people keep a flex schedule, meaning they have upper A, upper B, lower B, and they just kind of rotate between those four workouts. And you can do it 2 times a week, 3 times a week, 4 times a week, depending on schedule. I do about 10 exercises, 3 sets of 8 to 12 reps. So that's like 30 sets. That's a lot of volume. Is that enough or too much volume? It's certainly enough. That's a lot of volume. That's in the high end of the volume spectrum. Beyond that is insane volume. But is that enough? Absolutely. Is it too much? Well, progression is key. So you have to have a progression approach on each exercise. You have to have a defined way you are going to progress on each exercise. So over time, as you get stronger in all of your exercises, that kind of volume is going to have a tendency to beat your body up. Is it too much volume right now? No, not if you're handling it. What you need to do, though, is listen to your body. And when your body starts to feel beat up, you need to do some personal assessment and maybe chop a few exercises or chop a few sets. Maybe cut down a few exercises to 2 sets rather than 3. Chop out some redundant exercises or have somebody like the big hairy ugly dude look at your program and say, hey, it's a little unbalanced here. You really don't need that there. You're getting pretty strong. That you probably need to chop it out here. But it's never too much volume if your body can handle it, but just have a good progression approach in place. Hope that helps. Super DVD video. Super DVD video. How much do you weigh? And after losing the weight that you lost, you have loose skin. I was down to the lowest I ever got was 238 for like a hot minute, as all the cool people say. And then I generally fluctuated between 242 and 246 until I met my wife. And she would go back to Australia, and I'd drink a little too much beer out of boredom. So I got up to, I gained about 10 pounds. And I've been running, lost like 4 pounds just in the last week from, or last 2 weeks from all the running. So, do you have a lot of loose skin? Yes, I have loose skin. It's almost impossible for anybody that I have real minor loose skin on my waist. Um, it's nothing like the stuff you see, from the extreme weight loss cases. But when I'm at my leanest, like 238, you can see just a little wrinkle action. You know what I'm seeing? Up here on the side boob, there's just a little bit of loose skin. Nothing crazy. And I'm not ashamed to be honest about that, because there's a lot of guys out there in my case that got themselves obese and lost the weight. Yeah, I got a little bit. I had a chance to work with a plastic surgeon, but with having to get married and pay for a visa and everything, or try to get my wife into the country, it just tapped us financially, so that was a priority. But absolutely, it's almost impossible. I got a video on the channel about loose skin and surgery and debating surgery. If you want to check that out, just search on my channel. Search loose skin. I believe it'll help you find it. Leonidas. I find my form. Let me grab some liquid here. Lubrication for you perverts. All right. I find my form breaks down on squats if I don't pause for about 5 seconds between every rep and brace and set up for the next rep. This means it takes a long time to do any high rep training. Any tips? Nope. No tips at all. The only tips, uh, resetting before every squat rep is fine. When I get up out of the hole, that's kind of the norm on squats. You gotta, like, what you're thinking, like, where the fuck am I? What the fuck am I doing? And I'm sorry to be crude, but that's kind of the nature of squats, right? You get up after each rep and you're breathing heavy. You're trying to gather your wits. Then you got to remember, like, I gotta lock down my form, and then you go balls deep into the next rep again. That's normal. Um, the only advice is that's normal. And just keep resetting your squat. Your conditioning will improve slightly over time, but you know what? Squats rarely get easier. Even after 33 years, they're a royal pain in the ass. So the only advice I have is learn to embrace the suck. Learn to embrace the suck. Let's see, Carlos Jimenez. Big, hairy, ugly dude. Skip my question. I got to let you guys know real quick that I never skip any questions. YouTube is the suck when it comes to questions. So if it looks like I missed your question, not the case at all. YouTube's commenting system is really messed up. And every time I do a video, somebody thinks I'm skipping their questions. It's usually just YouTube, so I apologize. Just keep posting them up if I miss them. And I'm sorry for that. First time questions. Hope I'm doing this right. Can I take pre-workout and BCAs together? Yes, absolutely. If your BCAs contain caffeine, you probably want to start with a pre-workout half dose just to make sure you don't make yourself sick. Start with a half dose of pre-workout and just see what happens. You don't want to overstim yourself before you work. There's been a couple times where I've overstimmed myself during a workout, and I've actually felt sick like 20 to 30 minutes in. So just be real careful with that. Evil Computer says thank you for all the information. Thank you for being the Evil Computer. Renata, what's going on, Renata? Not late. I'll be out for another half an hour, so just post up your questions. I'll be around for a while. Kev Watson, if you want to stay off the beaten track in Scotland, just pick a hill or loch, scenery guaranteed. That's thanks for the advice, and that's kind of what we want to do. I mean, when we go out and hike, we don't want to go see the touristy stuff. We like to go get in troubles in the countryside and go hit the pubs and the restaurants and hang out with real people. That's what we enjoy. So we're really looking forward to that. Lubrication Nation. No beer for me this weekend. Too much running. Raphael White, thinking of giving plant-based diet a try for the summer. Do you think I will lose a lot of muscle? No, you will not lose a lot of muscle. How do I prevent this? How do you prevent muscle loss, or how do you encourage success on a plant-based diet? Food is food. There's many ways to consume your food. Preparation is key. There's so much information out there right now on plant-based diets that it is rather easy. You just need to spend a weekend making sure you know how to meal prep for plant-based diets, because that's going to be key. On a plant-based diet, you don't want to be out at work and trying to figure out what you're going to eat and then have to go to the convenience store. So you have to know what your options are. You have to prepare. And I would also highly encourage you to avoid all the super processed plant-based diet foods. In our modern landscape, there are a lot of healthy processed foods out there. High protein this, high protein that. A lot of foods that label themselves as high protein or health foods that are just completely packaged crap. And I see a lot of vegan products like this as well. So try to prepare your own food as much as possible. That's my best advice. Get your protein intake in, get your calories in, you'll be good to go. Leonidas, thanks for your advice. Hope you enjoy Scotland. Thank you, sir. Let's see. We got a he from the evil computer. Wayne Darrell, what's your view on the squat leverage machine? I have had a body fit machine for 10 years and haven't done a free weight bar squat since. I've tried the squat leverage machine, and from what I can recall, it felt pretty good. For those of us that are not getting involved in powerlifting and might not be after the maximal amount of muscle mass, there are many, many good quad exercises. And you can get in a great quad workout without squats. And I know that might trigger some people, but hey, I've squatted for 33 years, so I can give you my opinion on that. There's just a lot of good quad exercises. So absolutely, just get your volume in, get a lot stronger, and just continue to use it if you like it. It's only exercise. It's not life or death. And in this fitness community, we like to turn everything into life or death. We like to make everything so serious. Oh my God, Joe Schmo doesn't squat. Who gives a shit? I mean, it's only exercise. It's not a competition. I mean, are squats the best? Yes. If somebody comes to me and says, I have a back injury, I can't squat, am I going to call them out? And I say, yes, they probably don't have a back injury. They're just lying to me. And if you're going to be a pussy, if you don't want to squat, don't squat. Don't come to me and say, I can't squat because I have a back injury, and then blow smoke up my ass, because I've been doing this a long time, and I know when you've been naughty, and I know when you've been nice. All right? I got that Santa Claus thing going on. Super DVD video. You're the greatest. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I appreciate it. Bentley, Bntly. Is it possible to gain strength with just a power rack? Squats, bench, deadlifts, rows, and presses. Well, yeah, you can gain a lot of strength doing that. At my prime, strength-wise, I was doing almost all barbell exercises. I did find, though, that I was picking up some issues with that. My bench eccentric started to feel slow. I started to pick up strains and pains in my arms. And I really believe arm work, I lost arm size as well. So I am a real big believer in, yes, you can do a lot of barbell exercises, but you do need to focus on full body strength. If you are at home, you need to get a set of adjustable dumbbells. You can get 2 dumbbell handles and a couple 100 pounds of standard plates. You can find them on Craigslist for cheap, and that's a good backup. Then you throw in some body weight exercises. You get a TRX setup, which cost me like $25. I got it in the door in there. I got some bands that I hooked to the door. We do all kinds of band work after we do the heavy stuff. We do TRX pull-ups, TRX rows, TRX push-ups. You can gain a lot of strength with just a barbell, but there is value in working the entire body. So add a few pieces of equipment to that home gym if that's where you're training. Nilan Govender, greetings from South Africa. Greetings from Ohio in America. Thank you for watching, tuning in. Bow tie boy 805. How important is it to drink water while taking creatine? I drink enough water, but not sure I drink enough. Well, creatine can suck a little bit of extra water into the muscles. That's kind of what it does. You want to have a little bit more than normal, but you don't have to go crazy. One of the biggest issues with water intake, and I'm not a huge proponent in thinking you have to drink gallons and gallons a day. I mean, no one likes to have to piss every 15 minutes, and I think that's completely nonsense. But to be that obsessive about it. But on the other end of the spectrum, working with my clients, I can tell you there's about 20% of them that hardly drink anything at all. Now, when you limit your water intake, the water you do intake has to go to preserving your brain, your organs, and it'll slow things like your metabolism because it has priorities. So you want to find a good balance either way. But adding creatine, you don't have to drink that much more water as long as you're drinking a reasonable amount of water. So I hope that helps. Wayne Darrell. Also, I had a hip replacement 3 years ago, which feels great when I squat. How careful do you think I should be weight wise? Uh, I have a Special Olympics athlete that had a hip replacement. He's only like 34, but he does fine. But I would, when it comes to squats, if you're not trying to be Joe Powerlifter and you're not trying to be Mr. Olympia, if you, I would probably just set a goal to get your squats up to 275 by multiple sets of 10. That's pretty good. That'll probably give you all the leg size you ever want, need, or care to have, unless you're obsessed with competing in bodybuilding. So I would probably do moderate weight for volume and just listen to your body at the end of the day. So don't do the lower reps squat programs. Carlos, thanks for the advice. 44 years old, TRT 7 months, have lost 87 pounds by cutting trash from the diet. Carlos, that made my day. Way to go. Keep up the great work. Still about 310. What healthy average to be losing at this point? Carlos, I got to tell you, that's a good question. In looking at my clients, if you're the difference in rate of weight loss comes down. You got some people that are very super tight and consistent, and they lose 8 to 12 pounds a month generally. Some of them, I got one super client, Luke, who loses 14 pounds a month. Then I have the less consistent folks who struggle a little bit and they have a birthday party here or there, a date night here or there, but they lose 4 to 6 pounds a month. Consistency wise, Carlos, at 310, 8 pounds a month would be a really good goal. 8 to 10 pounds a month is sustainable. It's a good goal for you. You don't want to lose weight too slowly because then it becomes a mental drag. Just get it over with without abusing your body. You got, let's see, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. You got 8 months to lose 8 to 10 pounds. By the end of the year, you can be looking amazing. So just keep up that rate. Renata Matos, quick question. I'm going in for a dragon boat race and have been building my endurance and strength for it for a while. Is there any specific exercises I can do to give me a bit of an advantage? A dragon boat race. Wow. I got to Google that because I've been around the block many times, but I've never stopped at the dragon boat factory, so to speak. So, Renata, I'm not dismissing your question. I just want to understand what a dragon boat is. Let's see. Let me just pull up an image here. Is there anything I can do? That looks like, since you're doing a lot of rowing, that it would be quads and back. Quads and back. I would be doing definitely some quad work if you have to push. It's hard to tell if you have to push in that case because it looks like there's a lot of rowers. If it's just rowing, I would get your bar or get your straps on, and I would do a lot of dumbbell rows for reps, like 12 to 15 rep sets of dumbbell rows. and then maybe do some seated cable rows for 10 to 15 reps and try to get stronger on those. I think that would be a good starting point. You also probably want to work your arms. You also probably want to work your traps, because in rowing you're going to have some upward movement. You're going to work your traps a little bit. So I'd probably do some volume and get some time under tension on your traps. So I hope that helps some. And I'll be curious how you do and if you like it. Ben on Adventures is in the house. What's going on, Ben? I did barbell Romania deadlifts in the 15 to 20 rep range and sore. Yeah, that's some serious cardio. And that's a when it comes to Romania deadlifts, I like doing those in the reps because I think they're, you know, less intense on the hamstrings, and they will definitely leave you sore. So good job on that. Swolagorn, I don't have squat racks, so I can't lift enough over my head to back squat. Any recommendations? If I don't have a squat rack, and I'm assuming you're working out at home and don't have a leg press as well, you have to get creative and you have to say, what can I do? You could possibly clean a weight into the front squat position. One possibility is something we do is we race to 100 reps on squats. So you could clean, get in the front squat position, do 11 reps, set the bar down. This is rest pause style. Catch your breath, whatever. Just get to 100 reps as quickly as you can, as safely as you can. Or you could also do supersets with that. Clean the bar up to front squat position, and say do 8 to 10 reps, and then go do 50 body weight squats superset, or 50 body weight lunges superset. Very supersets are your best friend when you're working at home. I would definitely include body weight squats, body weight lunges. You can do goblet squats, front squats, things like that. Some really good options. Bulgarian split squats. Just take your time learning that before you chew up your knee. So absolutely, you can get in a good leg workout. Let me get some lubrication. 13 minutes left, guys and girls. So post up your questions. I have to be out of here at 10. 27 minutes. I have a client phone call. If you're interested in being a client, head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman. Slide into my DM. And first month is free, not a gimmick. Let's see. Raphael, my new girlfriend is a yoga instructor. Well, that sounds like good news. Yoga pants and all that kind of good stuff. I've always looked down upon yoga, but after she made me try it, I have to say it's one of the hardest things I've ever done. I will tell you, my good friend Alan Roberts and his wife Crystal do a lot of yoga, and they can do some stuff I wish I could do. If I had the time in the day right now to squeeze it in, I would be trying yoga. I would be practicing yoga. I simply don't. I have other goals right now. But definitely something worth trying, definitely something worth considering. And at the end of the day, movement is life, and any form of movement you enjoy doing, go do it, go enjoy it. I mean, life's too short. Sometimes in this lifting world, we get caught up in only, the world of barbells and dumbbells, and there's so many other things out there worth trying, and yoga is definitely one of them. Wayne, I see your guitars in the background. It seems you're pretty well rounded. I play too. I love my Les Paul copy. Yep, those are only two of my four. I ran an open mic last night. Pretty involved in the local music scene. Have about 5 albums out myself. And I'm opening up for Sean Rowe here in Lebanon next Saturday. So check out Sean if you've never heard him. He's a pretty amazing talent. Solagorn, by the name, my screen name is intended as a joke. I know you're not arrogant. In this day and age, anytime somebody uses humor, we have a tendency to assume they're arrogant, but that's not me. Humor is just funny because it's humor. You know what I'm saying? Luke Newcomb, what's your opinion on prom training? Like training for the prom? Like beer drinking and sex? I'm just being facetious. Luke, I don't have any idea what prom training is. I'm currently doing a deadlift program. If you send it to me on DM on Instagram at Ben the Barman, I'd be happy to look at it. But that's something I've never heard of in my billion years in the industry. Chad says, I've done a couple dragon boat races, lots of fun. Just looking at pictures here, and I have them on my computer, it looks like a lot of fun. So I've never seen one live nor heard of them before. So good luck, Renata. Wayne, so I know you're in Ohio as I am. Did you make it to this year's Arnold? No, I didn't. We had something going on. I was coaching a Special Olympics powerlifting meet that weekend. So I did not. I've only been there twice. Let's see. The Roo also plays guitar. I got let's see, a Japanese Fender right there, the red one, and this Fender right here, the acoustics, is just a shit box. I forgot my guitar on the way to Kentucky one time, so I went in the store and bought this $200 shit box. It sounds like a shit box, and it is a shit box, but I take it along into the woods. Danielle Khan, yo, from Singapore. What's going on, Singapore? Danielle is my favorite follower from Singapore. Might be my only one, but I'm thankful. How to tell when you are overtrained? You'll know when you're overtrained. When you're overtrained, you wake up and you can barely get out of bed. Your joints ache. You're just mentally fatigued. You have no will to exist. It's pretty obvious. And then when your central nervous system is a little bit fatigued, excuse me, too much carbonation. You'll go in and squats will feel really heavy. Deadlifts will feel really heavy during warm-ups. When that happens, you need to like take it down and not push your body. Just take what your body gives. There's a difference between pushing real hard and overtraining. If your lifts are dropping frequently, you need to have somebody look at your program, your diet, somebody monitor your weight. You need to get real scientific. You might be having inconsistent calorie intake. You might be having inconsistent protein intake. You might be doing too much volume work. You might not be sleeping. You might not be having enough sex. It's hard to say. I mean, there's a lot of variables, so it's really hard to say what can cause that. But it's very rare. It doesn't happen often, and usually there is something in the mix that is causing that. Usually it's diet related, usually, but it's hard to say. Progressive range of motion. Oh, I got you, Luke. What are my thoughts on progressive range of motion? There are a lot of the old school guys that did that would start up high and slowly go down, go down, go down over time. And I've tried it a little bit. I never found it personally more advantageous than just standard training. And in fact, I would probably say for me, it provided a little benefit, but it was a fun little experiment. And for some guys, it's going to pay off. For some, it's not going to pay off. But I would definitely, give it a try and just have fun with it and see what you think. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's generally more um, advantageous than any other form. I would say it's generally probably less for the average person. Dopcat, it sounds like I'm overtrained every single day of my life. Yeah, well, if you get to that point, usually it's like undersleep, too much stress, or maybe your diet is, too much crap. It's hard to say. Maybe you need more cardio. Maybe you need to just run and bring up your endurance a little bit. That can help with energy so much. Cleaning up your diet can help with energy so much. So I don't want to lecture you because I don't know your lifestyle. Wayne, have a great weekend. You too. All right, guys, last call. We got about 6 minutes. So get your questions in. We're about done for the live for today. Milos, thoughts on optimal BMI for lifters? I know body fat is a much better indicator of overall health. Just interested in your opinion. Great question. Let's not look at body mass index. Let's look at the real world. And let's start with our foundation in the real world. In the real world, what we know is that tall men are at a disadvantage from a longevity standpoint. That's because they have to carry around more mass and they have their heart and their hormonal system, which doesn't care how big they are. That heart and hormonal system is about the same man to man to man, woman to woman to woman. So for a man in this case, tall men are at a disadvantage because their body naturally has to carry around a greater burden over a longer period of time. That is not speculation, that is science. Tall men do not live as long. You can Google that. Um, Men over 240 are kind of playing Russian roulette because, for the same reason, their body has to carry around more mass over time. So, what we do know in general as a foundation point is that any man over about 240, regardless of height, is pushing their luck once they get past the age of 50. So, body mass index aside, you probably want to stay as a man under 240. Depending on your height, what weight you stay at can vary, obviously. Now, there are other factors involved, and certainly we can't dismiss them. We know that folks that do an extreme amount, a lot of endurance work, their telomere length. The telomeres are the protein end caps on your DNA. Folks, I believe that do 5 sessions of 30 minutes of running each week, their telomere length is longer. So they tend to live 7 to 9 years longer, something like that. So get your weight under 240. You probably, if you want to live long, have to be doing endurance at least 5 times a week for 30 minutes. Sorry to break the news to you, but that's the research. The body responds to that. That's why I prefer to do hiking. Something gets my heart rate elevated. Um, we also know that slightly overweight individuals live longer than slightly underweight individuals. Think about that for a moment. If you run the body in a calorie deficit for an extended period of time, it's probably lacking a few things, and the wheels are going to probably fall off the bus a little bit earlier than if you have a little bit more of a calorie intake. Now, that's not saying you can be obese. I'm saying slightly overweight. So it's beneficial for a male to be strong, to have good endurance, and to be, whatever the average BMI is, to be slightly into that overweight category, but not over 240 pounds. So I hope that helps some. And that's actually a pretty good analysis of what real life is about. Renata, do you get frustrated from a rest day, even if it's an active rest day? I get told to take 2 proper rest days. Uh, the second rest day, like 2 days of sitting around, absolutely, Renata. I do not like to sit around more than one day. Um, one day, there are many days where I need a rest day, and one rest day is enough. But on that second rest day, I get really frustrated. I just cannot sit around. Absolutely not. I need to run, hike, do something. Been on adventures, getting close to 100s. 95 by 8 on dumbbell bench press. Goal is to get 100 by 8 in a couple months. Too steep of a goal? Absolutely not. At that level, you have developed a good amount of mental strength, which will drive your physical strength. Once you get up to 100s by 3 to 5 sets of 10, it's going to be more difficult to go up in weight. So I would probably recommend, as a challenge to yourself, getting those 100s up to 100s by 3 sets of 15 or 20. That'd be crazy. And then from there, trying to add weight. Because it's going to be harder to add weight, it'll be a little bit easier to add reps. The Larsons are in the house. What's going on? Chad says, I feel the same on rest day. All right, guys, we are at 59-minute mark. I got a client phone call in 15 minutes, so I'm going to hop off. I will say that if I missed your question or you're late to the game, head over to my Instagram at Ben the Barman. Send me a DM, and I will be glad to answer your question. I answer every question, every single question that comes into my DM. I do. I answer every single one. If you need coaching, first month is free. Head over to Instagram at Ben the Barman for more details. It is a complete hands-on coaching. I do not waste your money or your time. So if you're interested, head over there. Let's see. We got Swolagorn. Have you tried Romeo and Juliet cigars? Yes, I have. I've tried most brands. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Have an amazing weekend. Go kick some ass. Go run. Go hike. Go lift. Go have lots of sex. Enjoy life. Make every second count. Please subscribe to my channel.